What's up everyone, this is Soul Reaper, and in this video I'm going to do kind of a continuation from one I did about a month ago, which is titled the Overpowered Zane gun damage build in Borderlands 3. So that video was all about an actual build for Zane, pre-release, and this is going to be continuing that and showing the actual gameplay for it. As always, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like. So taking a look at the actual skills I'm making use of, they're actually pretty similar to what I had in the original build. There are, however, a few differences that I'm going to touch on real quick before we get into the actual video. So first things first, one thing that I have different is actually pocket full of grenades. In the original build I did about a month ago, I had this at 3 of 3, but in this instance I only have it at 2 of 3, and one of those points is actually coming from my grenade mod. I kind of realized while playing that 3 of 3 was a bit redundant because I am using 2 action skills. The grenades are just always full and they're not exactly being fully utilized to their best potential. The other thing that's different also from the class mod is that I actually have duct tape mod. I have experimented with this at 5 of 5 and it can come in handy pretty often, but instead for this I decided to make use of Supersonic Man just because I do like the increased movement speed that comes along with it. But like I said though, instead of putting points into Supersonic Man, you can just go ahead and put in more into duct tape mod. It is your only way of using grenades if you're using 2 different action skills. Although if you do actually do that, I would also suggest maxing out pocket full of grenades. That way you don't ever run out and your clone can stay as powerful as possible. Other than that though, the skills I have, at least in the doubled agent tree, are pretty much the same. There is however a slight difference with the augments that I'm using. I'm not using binary system this time around just because the class mod I have here actually gives that to me, so I don't have to use an augment there at all. Instead, I'm making use of Schadenfreude, which I'm kept from the original build, and I actually experimented with Doppelbanger for a little while, but I'd always forget to actually make use of it. So instead I'm going to be using digital distribution, which really helps a lot when it comes to survivability. Moving on from there, when it comes to the Undercover skill tree, you'll see that a lot of it is actually remained pretty similar as well. There are a few differences, but for this skill tree, the augments are the same, which are Nanites or some shite, and Retaliation. One of the skills that is different with this build is that I'm actually making use of Stiff Upper Lip. It essentially just gives Zane some increased survivability just because as I've been playing with him, I have noticed he can be a bit weak at times, and this is one of the ways to just improve that. Another thing that's different is I actually didn't put any of my own skill points into Best Serve Cold. My class mod gives me that. It is at 2 of 5 like the original build, but again, I didn't have to use any of my points. Instead, those did go into Stiff Upper Lip. So like I mentioned earlier, again, I did not choose the deterrence field. I have seen a build that actually makes use of All-Rounder, and it actually looks really cool. It's pretty much making a bubble that makes Zane invulnerable, and that's really the only area for debate I have with my own build. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with what I have. I think it's pretty effective, but after seeing this video, you can go ahead and let me know if you actually think that using a full round dome might be better than what I have right now. Moving on from there though, again, I didn't invest anything into the Hitman skill tree. I did see a lot of people actually really hate that in the previous video, but I'm actually really happy with what the build turned into. What I have, I found to actually work pretty well, and I'm happy with how it is overall. So real quick before we get into the actual gameplay, just to show some of the guns I'm using. I am using Paul's rifle. If you don't know how to get that, there's a set of 3 missions called the Homestead. You have to do all 3, and for the final one, you are rewarded with this gun. I really like it. It's a great shock weapon, primarily because of how much it ricochets to different enemies. The next gun I have is actually insane. It's a legendary shotgun by the name of Speedloading Hellwalker. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now, but you'll see in the gameplay just how useful it is and how much I lean on it. From there again, we have the Venomous Hornet, and then a Jackal SMG. This gun, my 4th, is really a throwaway. It doesn't come too in handy. It's one of the things I still need to find a better replacement for. But getting back to the class mod, this is what let me make room for how I actually use my build. I was able to invest points elsewhere. And finally, the grenade mod I'm using is the Merv Hex. You'll see what it looks like. It's just a bunch of radiation flying around on the screen. It's actually pretty cool. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the actual proving grounds and show what this build is like up close. For the most part, I'm going to just go ahead and let the gameplay do the talking. There are moments where it skips a little bit. That's mainly just to avoid you guys having to watch me loot or go through any menus. I am playing on Mayhem mode 2, I think. It might be 3, but I'm pretty sure it's actually 2. So keep that in mind with the gameplay. But let me know down in the comment section what you think of this build after seeing this gameplay. I think it's actually pretty good. But anyways guys, that's pretty much going to be it for my part of the video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like, subscribe for more content in the future, and I will see you next time.
Need a new mag.
Passable skills, I suppose.
Let's crack on! Tossing barrier! Shoot him!
Luck, perhaps. We will see.
Use wisely, suckers! Let's have a chat. Run! Be distracted, will ya? You couldn't hit it! Don't say I didn't warn ya!
Not much further to go. We have reached the trial's end. Very well.